If NBA players played in the NFL, ever wondered how insane it would be if we saw our favorite NBA players playing in the NFL? Which position and team would someone like LeBron James play in? Or where do you think we would see someone like Russell Westbrook or Kobe Bryant play? Something to think about, right? Well, there are plenty of basketball players that were stars in high school football, but you know that doesn't necessarily guarantee that they would cruise through college and eventually make it to the NFL as well. Or would they? While the discussion sounds quite interesting, we are not sure how the NFL world would feel about this, with many of them not being amused by the idea of NBA players being able to make it big in the NFL just because of their size and strength. Let's face it, it does take more than just the size and strength factor to shine in the NFL. It's all about speed, mobility, agility, and even quicker decision-making. Not saying playing in the NBA does not require these things, but NFL stars would surely not like this idea as much. So with the topic now initiated, let's take a look at some of those NBA stars who would fit in well in the NFL as well. Zion Williamson, defensive end, tight end. Do we even need to explain why and how Zion can play in the NFL? I mean, it is pretty obvious, isn't it? Look at the guy. Zion can play anywhere from the tight end to the defensive end with his insane athleticism at his size. We have gone on to witness several college basketball players get drafted by the NFL, looking at their abilities and banking upon the hopes that they too could be developed into an athletic tight end. And well, Zion fits that role very well, but with even more upside. Zion possesses speed, power, and a special leaping ability that can easily give a nightmare to any offensive tackle who would be coming off the edge to rush the quarterback. And if he's not getting to the quarterback, he will still be able to bat down any pass thrown in his vicinity. If Zion wanted to suddenly change careers and switch to the NFL all of a sudden, we are certain many teams would be willing to sign the New Orleans Pelicans power forward. Jaylen Suggs, quarterback. Don't forget that not too long ago, we witnessed Jaylen Suggs become a star dual-threat quarterback in high school. In fact, he became the first athlete in Minnesota history to be named Mr. Football and Mr. Basketball in the same year. Given his talent in both sports, Suggs was offered scholarship offers from big-time schools like Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan State, Georgia, and Alabama. While he did go on to pursue an NBA career, it would not be false to say that Suggs had real NFL potential, and he might be the only athlete in the world that can say he might have gone first round in basketball and football. Either way, he now plays as a point guard, shooting guard for the Orlando Magic. But still not too late to switch careers, Jaylen. Just saying. Dwayne Wade, wide receiver. At 6 feet 4 inches and 220 pounds, we have none other than Dwayne Wade up next. Now, we all know that Wade is excellent at penetrating hard to the hoop with the ball in his hands, which would make most people believe that he would do particularly well as a running back. But we honestly think that his height provides him with an edge at the wide receiver position. If you are looking for a smooth and perfect route runner, Wade would be your man, and once he gets the ball in his hands, he can slice through an entire defense very easily. His elite focus and concentration to catching the difficult and wayward throws would help whichever team drafts him in the NFL to a great deal. Not to forget that Dwayne also played football as a youth, so it would be pretty easy for him if he had made his transition to the NFL. Russell Westbrook, safety. If you want to know what anger and aggression mixed into one looks like, do nothing and just watch Russell Westbrook.
What?
There are not many players in the history of the NBA who have the kind of intensity and aggression that we have witnessed from Westbrook in the NBA. If he were to sign for the NFL today, all he would have to do is bulk up a little, given that he already has the size and the explosiveness to burst onto the scene in the NFL. With that sort of size, build, explosiveness, and playmaking abilities, we can certainly see Westbrook make a fair argument at safety in the NFL. But why just restrict him to the defensive side of the ball? He can also easily play in the box while being a ball hawk, right? Drummond, offensive tackle. Philadelphia 76ers would grieve the absence of their 5 center, Drummond, if he were to leave the NBA to make a career in the NFL. I mean, the guy literally has a 7'6" wingspan at 6'11" and 280 pounds. His skills when it comes to mobility, along with the above-average footwork for his size, can translate to the football field rather smoothly. Oh, not to forget the fact that he already is quite aggressive on the basketball court, so physicality shouldn't be a major problem for him, is it? In fact, he looks like someone who would welcome it with open arms if he were to join the NFL. All his team would have to do with him is put him at tackle, modify, and work with his technique, and his team's quarterback would surely be safe and secure behind his protection. Kobe Bryant, wide receiver. You know the type of guys who are just so focused, so determined, just so good, physically and mentally, that they would succeed in whichever situation you put them in? That's Kobe Bryant for you. At 6 feet 6 inches, weighing 220 pounds, the Black Mamba would certainly thrive in the NFL. Such was his mentality. All the qualities and traits that you would need in a wide receiver, you would find in Bryant, be it his quickness, leaping ability, hand-eye coordination, along with size. His focus was just unmatchable, and his fearlessness would give his team the confidence they would require to entrust him with the responsibility of being a dependable receiver over the middle for the difficult catches. Want a receiver you would want to throw down to the stretch? Kobe Bryant is your guy. Allen Iverson, cornerback. Who likes the idea of seeing Allen Iverson as a cornerback? Definitely us. Iverson is regarded as one of the greatest scorers, ball handlers, guards, and of course, one of the most influential athletes in the history of American sports. In case you didn't know, the former Virginia High School Player of the Year, while playing quarterback, Iverson made his mark on the football field as well in high school. There is no doubt about the fact that he would succeed as a wide receiver as well, maybe in a slot position role, with his slight build as he stands at just 6 feet, but who wouldn't like the idea of seeing him play as a cornerback, right? If we talk about his qualities as an athlete, his quickness, hip movement, vertical and toughness are some of the major factors why we would love to see him as a CB. How if we put him on with a receiver, the NFL would not be disappointed as his one-on-one defensive skills are mad impressive. And of course, the guy is really tough and fearless, just like an NFL athlete should be. Victor Wembanyama, special teams. Now, when we talk about the 20-year-old French player, we really don't see him playing in any normal position on the field, especially ones that would have him at the receiving end of heavy contact. But you can still use his size on the football field. With his height, jumping ability, and ridiculous wingspan, he would actually be a perfect option to use on special teams. We've seen plenty of field goals blocked or tipped at the line of scrimmage. So when we imagine putting Wemby over the center and him just jumping up like he is utilizing the rule of verticality, we could see Wembanyama make it big in the NFL too, right? Aaron Gordon, tight end. The Denver Nuggets power forward would be convincing enough to be a tight end in the NFL. Don't you think so? We feel that Aaron Gordon is the perfect example of a basketball player who could turn into an NFL tight end. At 6'8" and 240 pounds, he's an incredible athlete who can pinpoint any pass thrown up in the air to the direction he wants easily and very comfortably. If we take a look at his abilities, one will surely feel that he is the perfect goal line target for a fade to the back corner of the end zone. Why we can see him doing well in the NFL? Simply because of how he could produce a show on the football field by out-jumping defenders in order to make catches. And these catches would not be easy ones. But Gordon would be able to take them. Who is the closest that we could see Gordon being compared to? That's easy, Jimmy Graham. Wouldn't you agree? Richard Jefferson, tight end. At 6 feet 7 inches and 230 pounds, we have none other than Richard Jefferson, who would make one of the best tight ends the NFL world would have ever seen. I mean, this guy is another great example of a player with superior athleticism. Jefferson has the speed and size to mismatch a linebacker. Talking about how quick his first step is, it would surely result in freeing him from a defender. And if it does not, which is highly unlikely, there are high chances that his endless motor will eventually get him open. Time and again, we saw Jefferson demonstrate his abilities and qualities in terms of having good hands as well, which would make him a solid receiver and a good blocker. But what about his vertical? Would it be good enough? Yes, of course. In fact, Jefferson's vertical is the most compelling trait for this position. Imagine throwing a ball to him, and you will surely see him coming down with it. LeBron James, tight end. I mean, do we even have to ask why we would have arguably the greatest basketball player of the modern NBA playing as a tight end? Obviously not, right? At 6 feet 8 inches and weighing 250 pounds, James would surely revolutionize the tight end position. And are we saying that he cannot play as a wide receiver or even defensive end? No, Most certainly not. He could be a star who shines bright at any of those positions too, but only because of his size, strength, and speed. We cannot help but picture LeBron absolutely killing it in the NFL as a tight end. And you might ask, how exactly do we see LeBron killing it or dominating in the NFL? Well, right after he explodes off the line, his insane feel for spatial relations will get him open. And right when the ball arrives, trust us, you will not want to tackle this guy. Or should we say, tackle this beast. Not overlooking the insane fact that he was a first-team All-State receiver in high school as a sophomore. So that explains why he would shine in the NFL. And even at 39 years old, there would be a lot of teams that would not think twice before signing the 6'9", 250-pound freak athlete with unreal coordination and solid strength and speed. So these were some of the top NBA players who would be equally successful in the NFL as they are in the NBA. But we would love to hear your take on this too. Do you agree with our list, or do you think we are missing out on some other players? Well, feel free to voice your opinions in the comments section below.